This is the most overpowered build in Elden Ring, and I don't think anyone will deny this. I'm going to show you the apex of builds in this game, but first, I quickly ask that you can tap the like button for me. It takes you 2 seconds and it helps me out a lot. Also, consider subscribing, but let's begin with the absolute best build of this game. And I can't stress enough how easy this build makes the game. Virtually nothing is a challenge anymore with this build. And on top of everything you'll see in this video, one of the main factors of what makes this so overpowered is just how simple and easy this is to destroy anything. But let's begin, and for this build we'll be using 4 weapons, but trust me, it's not that complicated, so let me explain. In your first slot we'll be using Mohg's Sacred Spear. This great spear is arguably the best weapon in Elden Ring right now, just because of how absurd the Ash of War is. The range of this Ash of War, the stagger potential, and the raw damage output of it is the best thing you'll experience in this game. It also literally attacks through walls and ceilings, so if that doesn't confirm how broken it is, I don't know what will. The weapon is all around good, but can be slightly slow and not as good for quick enemies unless you just spam its Ash of War. However, if you don't want to spam the Ash of War on everything you see, in another slot in your left and right hand, you can run the Bandit's Curved Sword. And on these swords, run any occult Ash of War, specifically the one in your right hand having seppuku on it, and this is just for the huge damage buff you get with that. You can get this sword from the Church of Pilgrimage Grace, and all you have to do is kill the skeleton enemy right outside the church. But just so you know, this sword only has a 2% chance to drop, so I hope you get lucky. Running 2 of these is optimal for its moveset, since the jumping attacks while power stancing these swords swings 4 times, which can trigger blood loss almost every time. Using 2 isn't mandatory, just a recommendation, since the drop rate can be a little annoying for this sword, and if you're anything like me, you'll give up after an hour. But that's why I use the Scavenger's Curved Sword in my offhand. This is just a less good version of it, but it's the only thing I had. And finally, in the last slot in your offhand, just run any seal you want. This isn't really for spells, but if you like to use spells, go ahead and use any one you like. I personally use the seal for Flame Grant Me Strength, since this buffs physical and fire damage, and Mohg's Sacred Spear actually does fire damage. So when you use Flame Grant Me Strength and the rest of the gear I'm about to show you, you'll get so many buffs to your damage, it's crazy. For armor, I really only have 2 recommendations, but this is armor and you can really use anything you want, but if you specifically want to be OP, then make sure that you're using the white mask as your helmet. And for your torso, run Raptor's Black Feathers, since this has added damage to jumping attacks. Anything else you want to wear is up to you, but again, the entire armor set's up to you. For your talismans, it's kind of essential that you run these specific ones that I use. Firstly, I use the Claw Talisman. This again buffs jumping attacks, which if you pull out your curved swords will buff that. Next, the Fire Scorpion Charm to increase the fire damage on Mohg's Sacred Spear. In the third slot, I run the Shard of Alexander to greatly boost your Ash of War damage. And finally, for talismans, I run the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. Obviously, this is a bleed build, so this is going to be a must. In your physic, you can run the Flame Shot and Cracked Tear. This will boost fire damage, which the Sacred Spear does fire damage. And in your second slot, you can use whatever you like. Personally, I use the Stone Barb Cracked Tear. And I mean, yeah, that's basically it. There's not much more I really need to explain about this build. I think you guys kind of get it. It's a bleed build. Basically, just spam the Ash of War on the Sacred Spear. I mean, it really is the most broken thing in the game, and it takes 2 brain cells to use. And this build is also one of the easiest ones you'll come across. The poise on the Ash of War is super high too, so you really won't get hit out of your Ash of War that much. And I mean, yeah, that's basically it. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'll be putting more unique builds out after this one. I just kind of wanted to update my most OP build. Comment if you think you actually have a better build than this one. And if you made it to this point, thank you so much. Comment Pringle in the comment section, because I'll be replying to you guys in the comments. Make sure you guys hit the like button on your way out, and other than that, I'm out, bruh. Peace.